Greetings, hello, and welcome to this edition of Buddy Talk. My name is Sandeep, and I am your thoughtful buddy hosting these talks. As you know, as part of this series, I plan to call upon some of my buddies to share their experiences and knowledge across various topics related to product management, agile development, product development, any specific industry best practices or specialities that they might have. The main motto, of course, is to learn from each other and also have fun together as well. In each of these sessions, I plan to have one topic being presented, followed by some discussions if time permits, along questions and answers as well. Um, and all these sessions will be recorded and published on my YouTube channel, which is Thoughtful Buddy. Uh, Following the principle of keeping it short and simple, I'm trying to keep this each of these sessions at 30 minutes or a maximum of 1 hour, since this is only the second session. So we'll see how it goes in the future. With that, it's time for today's episode of the Buddy Talk initiative. In preparing for this session, I came across a quote which says, "Creativity is nothing but having the mindset free." But I would probably kind of reframe that one and probably complete it as well, saying that creativity is nothing but a mindset free to find creative ideas. Now, how does this make sense? What does this all mean to us? And how can we make our minds creative? How can we be creative as such? To talk about this, that's today's session as such. And it takes two to tango, so it does for creativity as well. And that's why we have two speakers for today's session. Rajeshwari and Deepak, two of my buddies with creative minds, will be talking about how we can boost our creativity so that we could come up with creative ideas for our products and services. After having worked in engineering research and development for many years, Rajeshwari, or as she wants to be called as Raji, quite recently stepped into product management as a technical product manager at Incher. In our buddy circle, she brings in a lot of enthusiasm and vibrancy. On the other hand, Deepak brings in his vast experience in business analysis and technology management. As a product manager at First American Indian, he is helping build legal tech products for India. So sit back, participate, and explore some creativity within yourself. So if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, do post in the chat window of Zoom. We will take them and I will moderate those things towards the end of this session. And now let me actually make way for Raji and Deepak. Raji and Deepak, if you can just say hi, wave yourself, come on the screen and take over.
Yeah. Hello, Sandeep. Thank you so much for this brief introduction about myself and Deepak. And it's great to share my talk with Deepak as of today. So, hi, Deepak.
Hey, Raji.
So,
good evening.
Yeah, in the interest of time, so we'll just right away start our session. I'll be sharing my screen.
Yeah. So, good evening, folks. Let's understand how you can turn ideas into your product. My name is Deepak. As Sandeep introduced me, I work as product manager at West American India. We all watch movies, right? Recent movie was KGF 2, and one dialogue kind of was repetitively telecasted, and it stuck into my head. Violence, violence, violence. I don't like violence, but violence likes me. Imagine yourself as a product manager in that imaginative word, and you say ideas, ideas, ideas. I don't like ideas, but ideas like me, and ideas keep pounding on in your head, and you build great products. That's never gonna happen, right? And we live in a realistic world, and we need to find ideas to make our product successful. So in the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will go through the various ideas, how you can build upon those ideas and try to build a successful product. Next slide. So when you think of ideas, there are basically three main ways. One is you spontaneously hit and through serendipity you get into an idea, but that happens to a lucky few, not to everybody. So we cannot totally depend on it. Then we have insider ideas. You get to know the inside stuff of your competitor and you build a product much prior to they launch it and you become successful. Again, not a very realistic solution. That leaves us with only one way wherein you build upon ideas yourself. Next slide, Raji. Through deliberation, you build upon your ideas and come up with ideas that make your product successful. So in the next few slides, we will see how we can build such great ideas. So the base of all this generating ideas is uh, this framework, which is a 2x2 ANSOF framework, 2x2 metrics on current markets versus products. At the base of the first, I would like to go at the evolutionary part, wherein you are having a product which is serving a particular set of customers, and your whole objective is to make that product successful, which means that you want to have a bigger market share in the segments which you are trading. The way to do it is through incremental value generation, which you can do by bringing in new features which are valuable to your customers or bringing in new experiences for your customers. As a result, you get a bigger market share. So as part of this, we will share three ways of increasing your market share and coming up with new ideas. Then you have, you want to build new markets for your existing capabilities or existing products. Again, it's a function of researching. You go about looking for new markets, new customer segments who have similar problems. For example, in the case of Amazon, in the case of Apple, right? Apple used to sell its premium phones to a premium segment, but then they identified that there was a mid segment which aspires for Apple phones, but they don't want to spend that much. So they reduced uh, on the feature set, and they brought in Apple SE phones, right? So that is the way where you get into this other segment. Then third segment is wherein you look into the problems of your current segments, understand them deeper, and then you try to build new capabilities to solve those problems. More into this, we will understand when we understand the edge strategy. This is one other method which we will understand during this half an hour session to generate ideas. And finally, you want to diversify your business. You want to go revolutionary in terms of your capabilities, serving new market segments altogether. And again, that can be done through edge strategy. But here, your lens becomes the new segment. From the new segment perspective, you will do the edge strategy.
Yeah. Thanks, Deepak. So for explaining the various ways in through it, how we can extend our current capabilities to our current markets. So generally, sometimes what happens, you won't know what to do, or you don't know how to, when you're sitting together, you don't know how to bring in ideas or creative ideas, I would say. And generally, we think about, we always think and ponder, like, how do we actually bring some creativity in our ideas? How do we do things differently? And, you're always stuck. I mean, generally, even when I go to kind of product design questions while I am being interviewed and all, like, how do I think something on the fly? So and how do I structure certain things? So while I'm stuck doing this both at office and while I'm getting interviewed, so there are some three frameworks that I actually came across through some of the product management forums. So one being the Kipling method, another being the attribute listing, and third being the HIT metrics. So there are 9 other or 11 another frameworks which also helps in bringing this deliberate ideas. But we will just focus on 3 because I really try to apply these 3 things, and I was really successful in generating creative ideas. So starting with the Kipling method, So what this tells is you will go about answering anytime any problem is given to you, or you want to think something beyond creating some creative solutions to your problem statement. So you'll always think like, where do I start, or what I'm thinking, is it in the right, or how do you bring a different point of view to a problem statement? Because when you will only see through one lens, but then how do you actually think from a different point of view? How do you brainstorm, and you know so how do you bring creativity while solving a problem? So this is the framework that helps you to understand. So what it means is it's 5 Ys and one H. So where do you actually apply this? So I'll actually get into describing like how we can take a real-time example and see how I can apply this framework. But before that, when you should apply, or how to apply, and what this actually gives, just like how I mentioned, that it helps you to give different views for defining a problem, and then how to generate ideas to solve a problem in an intuitive way. So this framework helps you to do that. So I'll just take you to another framework. So just let me know if you guys are able to see my screen.
We can.
Yeah. So there are two use cases that I have actually tried to expand here. One being altogether what to build, or how do you actually solve a problem, and another being identifying what actually caused the problem. So the second part of it is the actual RCA problem while you're being interviewed. Suppose they tell you that they give you a problem statement telling that there is a decrease in Uber rides by 20% between 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. So how do you approach this problem? So generally what you do is you know that you need to ask some set of questions, and then you just read those questions, and then you try to kind of creatively think. But then if end of the day, how do you structure your problem statement? And the way you would start with applying Kipling method is in a sequence. So first you will start about telling why is it happening. So you'll start asking this question to the interviewer, telling that and then you will start asking, are you noticing any decrease? I'll just go with a little 2 3 level inside this problem statement. So are you noticing any decrease in the rides, or any announcements like external factors like competitors told something, or government made some announcements, or any new launches that happened? Was the search pricing? So these kind of high level questions or getting in depth questions will answer why is it happening, and then when is it happening. So you also need to know what is the time frame, like so because it anything is time boxed and everything. So what was relevant 6 months back might not be relevant. So you need to see within this 3 months, or within like say 2 weeks, or within 1 week, when. So you just exactly want to nail that answer, like when was this happening. So whether it's weekdays, weekends, or was there any festival months, or any weather conditions, any effects because of that the rides went down. So this will help you to answer these set of questions. And then where is it happening? So to understand your persona's demographic in depth, right? Like which is a geographical area, what is their dbag, like what was the behavioral different patterns that happened? Was there any issues in terms of the infrastructure of the roads, or was there any strikes or election campaigns that happened? So it will help you to think on. So whenever you tell where is it happening, this question will prompt you to think in depth, like different, gives you a different point of view, like how you can actually bring up different questions to the interviewer, so that you can create a solution, or you can actually find out the RCA of the problem, bang on onto it. And then coming to who is impacted. So if you see now that with this question, where is it happening, you will also want to understand, like if there is a decrease in the rights, is it because of the cab drivers, or is it because of the actual candidates who are unable to pick up the service? So if you see this question, which you prompt to ask your interviewer, will help you to understand which persona actually is the problem applying, so that you can see if there is an app that is designed. So if you see Uber as an app, it has your drivers onboarded, as well as it has your customers onboarded. So which screens were developed, and where is the problem statement relying on? Like, is it because some screen upgrade happened and then the driver is unable to do something because of which the rights have decreased, or is it that the candidate's experience went bad, or some upgrade happened, some screen development happened on the candidate side, wherein he couldn't complete the transaction, and because of which the the rides are going down. So this question will help you to identify which persona is being impacted by this problem. So by asking these 4 to 5 questions, by applying the Kipling method, you will actually now figure out exactly where is the problem. So the interviewer will prompt you and will, kind of give you a structure like, okay, so yeah, this happened. Somewhere he will try to bring out that answer, telling that there was a new pop-up screen. Assume that in this, there was a new pop-up screen that came up and was designed for a candidate, and that was not helping the candidate complete the transaction. So that's why there was a dip in the number of rides that was happening on Uber. So now you will actually try to introduce a solution thinking that, okay, this is my problem statement, and exactly you will try to see what is the change that you're going to do. So you'll also now think, now say I tell that since the screen is a problem, now you'll go about thinking how I can solve this intuitively. Like either you introduce an auto timeout wherein the screen doesn't hold indefinitely, and then that is not helping the candidate to complete the transaction. So this will actually help the candidate, to auto timeout, and the app doesn't need to hang, or the whole transaction, actually there's no dip in the transactions. So to do this, who do you get them involved is the designer team, the engineering team. So if you see the whole problem statement, and then how do you by answering the next set of questions like, when and how will you know you solved it? So there is a kind of we have been learning about the metrics, right? The success metrics, or the metrics that you will actually track to see if the problem is solved or not. So this helps us to solve, or this method gives us a framework to apply any to bring up solutions intuitively. So this I also try to apply in my current company, while I was designing, or when I was given a problem statement of about bringing in using an enterprise application, and coming up with onboarding as an experience. So they just asked me to solve the onboarding problem. So by applying this Kipling framework, I was able to find out the actual gaps, and then I was able to see how do I position my product, what is the solution that I can provide on top of the default success factors, SAP success factors, and how do I position this in the market with a good value proposition. And coming to the next method that we choose is defining attributes of your idea. So sometimes you are like out of ideas. I understand that your problem is there. You can actually apply Kipling method and you can come up with a solution. Now assume that you don't even know. You are given a product, and then they ask you to come up with a new white spaces, and they'll ask you to come up with a different value proposition, and you are given like a time frame of like say 1 week, and you don't even know much about how do you create this white space and what is the value proposition that you are actually bringing in. So that is when attribute listing is a very simple and a very concrete way of actually a simpler way for you to generate ideas well. So what is this attribute listing? So it is like breaking each attribute into a logical smallest block. So I'll take you through an example how this can be done. So it's generally a creative method to find to solve problems and find intuitive way, and you'll discuss with a bunch of people, like with your capabilities, with your competitive advantage of your company, how do you actually build things faster and in a easier way. So if you see, so this is just a explanation about the same thing. Break existing product into logical small blocks. For example, assume that there is a screwdriver. So you will start about taking each the torque, the way it is applied, the way the holding is there, the way the metal shift happens. So everything becomes an attribute. So you will start picking for a screwdriver. You will start listing all these things as an attributes. And you will now tomorrow you want to design a new product. You will see how do you actually just change the rubber part, the holding part of it, and then build a new solution. So this will kind of actually break down and give you, and it will help you to generate new ideas. So let's take an example of the loyalty or the reward program improvement. So if you see, so this is a card, and then these are the properties of a reward program. Like say it has a sign up, it has a membership type, it has the identity, rewards and benefits, redemption methods. upgrades, the different social integration. So based on all of these attributes, I'll start listing, like say, so there is some good amount, like say minimum 5 attributes per. So when I say sign up, just think from a customer point of view. How are all the competitors doing sign up for the people who are offering the similar loyalty or the reward program? Say they do on the first purchase, do you ask them to sign up, or the flat entry free online sign up, minimum purchase, referral, invite only, based on only invite you will actually ask them to sign up. And then if there is under the membership, you have single type, by gender, by benefits, identity, like what do you use as an identity to authenticate the user? Like, is it that you give your mobile number, or do you give a mobile app, or some other things like this? So how do you actually give redemption? What are the reward points, and how do you give upgrades, and what are the list of social integrations that you support as a platform? So you write all of these attributes, taking every competitor who is giving this loyalty program, list all of them under each of this bucket, and then now brainstorm and see what is that you want to do. Like you can just pick like combinations, like first purchase, like the sign up can happen on the first purchase where minimum purchase is more than, like say, $10. And then by benefits, and for gender, on gender you can actually say for female, for this price money I give mobile as an identity, and this is how she can redeem, and these are the reward points, and this is the total order value, and this is the integrations that I give for her. So this is how you actually help. See, so if you see here, so out of all the attributes or the buckets that I have created, I have picked certain attributes which I actually want to deliver as a value proposition. So instead of you going and thinking and not knowing where to start off, this method helps you to quickly come up with, I mean, somewhere you want to be in par with your competitor, and you and your manager asked, or from your product team, you have been asked to develop solutions, like come up with some new value propositions. So this is the first step, that you can immediately see where they are, what value propositions are other competitors providing, and how you want to provide the same solution in a different way. So sign up. So if you see the earlier, they might be not having the same thing, first purchase with minimum. So allow sign up on the first purchase for minimum order value of say 10 USD. So this is something that they don't have, and we are coming up with a different way. And for gender, for female, there's a different approach that you can take. You can give physical card. If they are giving only online card, you can come up with physical cards, and the way you identify the the owner of the card is different. And you give a chat bot, you give conversational AI, or you give some intuitive way of creating tasks, everything. And then those kind of integrations is something that you can actually think of while you're actually designing solutions. The third thing that another method of developing or building borrowing ideas is from other fields. Okay, so what we actually attribute listing is mostly kind of putting together all the features of say I work on an enterprise application, like say task management tool. So I will take what Pega is doing, I'll take what ServiceNow is doing, I'll see what Workday is doing, I'll see what other competitors in SAP are doing, and then I'll actually build this attribute listing. But how about thinking sometimes, I mean, and what you build is somewhere close to what other competitors are also doing, even though you're creating some value. But then sometimes you are so you love certain products that you love the way some features are built. Like say I recently had a friend, he works for Scriptbox, and they also they also work with B2C, and he was an avid user of Cult app. And he saw the way the trainers are being the way you actually kind of rate the trainer through emojis or through smileys or the star rating, or the way the app, the rating screen is designed was very intuitive. So how do you actually take these kind of insights or these ideas and then actually try to retrofit into your product? So it's not like, if you see Scriptbox and Cultfield, they're like two different apps. One is like totally a health fitness app, and Scriptbox is a wealth management app. But how do you actually take idea from another apps? Like say Swiggy is doing something in terms of delivering products and the way they're engaging customers in a different way. And how do you take these ideas and try try to see if you can give similar kind of, like, say, chatbot, the way you want to converse with the candidate. You can use these kind of tips and borrow ideas from other products which are totally different. I mean, they are no way linked with your products at all, but then they are altogether a different field. So the HIT metrics is something which actually it's a heuristic ideation matrix, which actually helps you to generate ideas via various other products that you love or you resonate a lot with. Yeah, so that's about it. Deepak, on to you.
Okay, Rajiv was very elaborate and in fact very useful methods to find out ideas. The next method is the edge strategy. In fact, one of my favorites. I have found a $15 million annual revenue project for my company using this edge strategy. To talk about it, there are two kinds of edges which you want to look at. One is the product and one is the customer journey. So when I mean the product, let me give an example. Today, we are building a legal tech product for lenders. By that, what I mean is today, when you go to get a loan, the lender has to first verify the property papers, whether it is the legal documents are all clear. Only then he will then issue the loan. But that process is completely manual. We are automating it with AI and other technologies. But today, the capability what we have built into the product is for individual homes. For example, you have a villa plot, or if you have a residential plot, you can just submit your documents, and within 1 or 2 hours, the legal verification is done, clear, and then loan might be approved, right? But then when I look at the product, I need to see what are the other edges. For example, the residential property is one of them, but there are other properties such as apartments. Builders want to get approval for their entire apartment project. That is something which we can build with minuscule changes into our existing application. I can now, instead of only looking at that small lot, I can look at big survey numbers and try to generate that legal reports, right? So this is how you build product edges. You are seeing for that subset of customers. In our case, it was people who want to get loan for their apartment projects. I'm gonna extend my product to make it a premium product and hence cover a much bigger customer segment as and hence generate revenue opportunities for my product. So this is one edge which you have to concentrate on. The other edge is the customer journey edge. Raji, go to the next slide. So journey edge is all about any product which you have in the market will have a customer segment, and there is a solution, some problems which that customer segment has, which you are solving through your product. Right? But that customer, apart from the problems which you are solving, might have many other problems which he has to solve, which he is hiring many other products in the industry. For example, let's take this case of SAP, right? SAP, let's say CRM system of SAP, right? You want to automate your marketing sales division, so you buy that SAP CRM software. But beyond that, what is needed? You hire one external vendor to install it, you configure it, then another vendor to manage it, manage the software, make announcement, make changes during the life of that product. Now, this is the entire journey of your customer. If you can visualize the entire journey and see whether, based on your core competences, whether you can, apart from only selling the software, can you also install, can you also configure, can you also manage that software in the long run? It creates a whole vast of revenue opportunity. For example, if selling the software is $1 million, but installing, configuring, and managing the entire life cycle of that product until the end of this product life is 1.5 million. It's entirely, you have opened up the horizons of your company to new business opportunities, right? So this is what journey edges. Let's take a use case. I think that will clear out any other questions if you may have. Go to the next slide, Raji. So Home Decors was one of online furnishing companies. this company had a niche segment. They were catering home furnishings for people who love aesthetics. They had unique designs, right? And they were on the lookout to see what additional opportunities are there which they can capture, right? So when this assignment came to us, go to the next slide, Rajiv. We studied the entire customer journey of this customer segment who love aesthetics. So let's see through this journey. Anybody who love aesthetics, they are research freak, right? They will research what is the latest trend, what is the best design, because they want something unique for their home. And once they do that, then they go explore various products in the market, online, offline, store visits they do. Then they shortlist the list of items. Then suppose they shortlist something online, they go and order it. Once they receive, they would wait for, suppose for example, furniture. They would wait for the customer's support guy to come home, configure the support so that those problems are addressed. And this is the entire journey. Customer segment which was targeting, there were in this entire journey, we some key problems. One is the customer wants aesthetics. Now, aesthetics means buying something which matches to their home decor. For example, they have a home with white interiors and they want something like grayish kind of sofa, right, which fits perfectly into that odd sized home, right? In other ways, I such customers were looking for such, such furniture which matches to their home decor, visiting 10 or 15 places before they finalized. And even when they finalized, they were not happy with the end product. They had to compromise somewhere. What if we provide a customizable furniture solution to such niche customers, which sitting at their home, they can customize the color, the size, the uh, many other aspects of that furniture. Plus, we saw that this aesthetic savvy furnitures where aesthetic savvy customers were also looking for some creative solutions. They did anybody don't have such creative brains. They wanted some creative person to help them with finding such things. Thirdly, we observed that these aesthetic savvy customers were using furniture for more than it was intended to. For example, with the COVID case, you were using sofas as another place where they can do their office work, right? So with all these insights, which we understood by understanding the journey of that customer segment, we were able to identify insights. Go to next slide, Raji. Which were like these people were scouting around the city to find that ideal furniture, which can easily be provided through customizations by sitting at home. Uh, these people needed advice and support, which we can provide through free design services, which they can easily order through online, and people will visit their home to provide their free design service or get into Skype calls to provide them that design service. Thirdly, they were using furniture for multiple functions. Can we, since we were building custom furniture, it was very easy to provide add-in features such as providing a laptop table, USB charger integrated along with the sofas. Right. So this way we were able to identify these key insights and position our product appropriately in the market. Go to the next slide. So finally, we were able to position home decor accordingly, that it is an online customer store which enables co-creation of furniture. And unlike the other players, there was impactful customer engagement through free design surveys, through add-in features. We were able to provide relevant and value for the customers. So that's it. Go to next slide, Raji. With this, we will end this talk. We basically, to summarize, we basically did few things. One is we understood Ansoff metrics, tried to understand three methods which Raji explained, through which you can do exploratory work, wherein you can do incremental improvements to your product, come up with new ideas, and get deeper market share. And through the edge strategies, you can try to find new solutions, new ways of serving your customers, which you aren't doing today, and hence generate new revenue opportunities for your company. Thank you. I would, Sandeep, you
Thank
can
you,
now
Deepak.
take over.
Well, wow, this was amazing. So I think I really like the how you use the answer of metrics to categorize different methods based on capabilities and market in which our products operate. I just want to just give you some feedback, of what I felt about this entire session. And then the just reminded something about the Kipling method when you said 5W and 1H, Raji. Um, the way I used to remember it is like one husband with five wives, but that's also another way that's we could actually get to know that. But I really appreciate the fact that you both took examples. For example, Uber rights for describing the Kipling method, or the home decors for the strategy, or loyalty rewards program for the attribute listings. And talking about attribute listing, that would probably be my takeaway. The way you put out a visual, it kind of gives a big picture to others. I think I think that's something that I would probably want to use, going forward as an outcome from this session as such. But it was nice. Thank you very much, both of you. I don't have any other comments or feedback at this, or any questions at this time. But it was really, really nice to have you both share your experiences, share your journey in which, and the knowledge that you guys have gained with your own assignments and projects that you guys are doing at your workplaces or any other outside of this. With that, of course, we have come to the end. Thank you all for watching this episode of Buddy Talk. You can, of course, follow my LinkedIn profile, that is Sandeep Manipali Gururaj. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Thoughtful Buddy, for more such content in the future. At this point, here's me signing off along with Raji and Deepak. Thank you.